Hey there, so welcome back. This is Melissa, and we're going to have a really good conversation. Hear a little bit about her story and what Rise has done in her life and some really good stuff. So, I'm Melanie Wilson. I'm the founder of Rise, and Rise is a community of authentic, trustworthy, and honest women. We are choosing to show up, dig in, and do the hard work. And as a result, these women, myself included, are flourishing in their relationships. So it's about a safe place to land. It's about being received with compassionate action. And as a result of that compassionate action, you're going to hear from Melissa what has taken place in her life. So hello, Melissa.
Hi. Thank you for having me.
Yes, I'm excited you're here. So I had to bring a folder or a picture. So hold that up for me and tell me about who the woman is in that picture.
So this picture, after I looked at it more, I realized I was a different person then. One of the things that I noticed myself, because I had asked you what you thought about it when I looked at it, but what I noticed myself was that I didn't have makeup on in this picture. Now I love to wear makeup. I just felt like that I'm just putting myself together, simple, easy, get this over with and done with. And now I like to put on makeup, I do my hair, I like jewelry. So it's just I was a different person then. I lived for everybody else and not for myself.
Okay. Yes.
Good stuff.
So when you had originally reached out to me to sit down and have a conversation, tell me what was going through your mind. What was the reason that you decided to connect and sit down with me?
The initial reason, honestly, it wasn't for myself. Even though I knew I had my own stuff going on, I work with a team of women who I felt like they have crap going on too, and I want to help them be their best self. I feel like I can help other people, but even though I have my own stuff, I couldn't help myself. So through our conversation, you said, the first thing you should do is meet with me and talk about your stuff. So I could better myself in order to help them. That was our first conversation, and then after we met, I realized this is where I need to be. I wanted to be involved with like-minded women to be the best version of me possible.
Okay. So thinking about, you talked a little bit about the woman in that picture. Help us understand who Melissa was before Rise.
I was probably your everyday, soccer mom, wife. Just that, I volunteered for everything. I did everything for everyone else. I was very unhappy, but I felt like this is where I put myself in my life, and this is what I have to stand up to be. Doesn't matter if I'm happy or not, because people have expectations of me, and I have to meet them. So I had a lot of stuff buried underneath, and I tried to fake it till I made it, and it didn't really work.
All right. So what was the trigger, the click? What was it that you were like, you know what? I'm going to invest in this process. I'm going to invest in a coach. I'm going to invest in me. What took place there?
I think it was after our first meeting that we talked, because your honesty and authenticity and just your genuineness with your story made me realize, and I don't want to cry, but and that's what I did.
We
then.
cried.
I don't want to cry, but I cried because I was there.
Yeah.
But you were past it, but I was in it.
Right.
So I was like, okay, this is where I need to be, because if you can come past it, then I can come past it.
It's one of the things that I've learned. For years I hid my story. I didn't want people to see the imperfections, the pain, the struggling. I didn't want people to know that I suffered from depression and anxiety, because those what ifs. And what I've noticed now that I am healing and overcoming, and I'm so far on the other side of it, that it is my true story. When I speak my truth, when I share my story, that's how we connect.
Definitely.
And I was missing out, and even more detrimental was the women who didn't get to hear my story we're missing out. So yeah, our first meeting, we were 15 minutes in and both of us were crying. First time meeting and here we are crying,
Yeah.
but that's what Rise is about. So help me understand what you feel Rise is, what Rise has done for you.
It has definitely made me just step into my power, so to speak. I don't need to sugarcoat things all the time. I don't have to be rude about them, but I can take control and take accountability and responsibility for how I feel, what I think, and I don't have to explain myself.
Right.
And that was probably your second meeting. You said a lot of what you say is weak. And I was like, okay. Well, so I tried to fix it because I shared that with someone else, and that individual said, yeah, she's right. And oh, okay. Let's try to fix that. So I just stopped trying to appease people and stopped trying to change words, and I just say, this is what it is. You know, it's not a can you, will you? You know, it's not so wishy-washy.
Mm-hmm.
I just come out and say what I think, and it has just helped me take control of other areas in my life and know that if I can control at least what I speak, that I can control everything else too. Words are powerful, so that was a small step, but a big step for me.
Right. So speaking about words being powerful, I remember one of the exercises that I gave you about the I am statements. So talk to me a little bit about your I am statements.
I, didn't grow up in church, but very churched. In my adult years, very much coached and mentored in a good way. But it was just the first ones were those regular, I am loved. I don't even know what the rest of them were. Just those basic ones.
Yeah,
I'm
generic
favored,
ones.
I'm important, But lately it's, especially with the app that I have, it's helped me to realize that I am a whole lot more than just the basic.
Right.
I'm extraordinary, and there is no other me.
That's right.
And I'm gonna step into who I'm supposed to be. So.
There's so much depth to who you are. So let's dig a little deep for a minute. Talk to me a little bit about the pain that you were experiencing, that you had to make a choice either to stay in that or rise up. Talk to me about the pain.
I don't like to talk about the pain. I guess it goes back to initially settling what I felt like this is all I get, and I put myself in this position, so I'm just going to make the best of it and make myself stay. Through that, I dealt with a lot of stuff where I was kind of beat down. I was beat down. I wasn't kind of beat down. I was beat down to believe inaccuracies about myself. And then when I made a decision on my own to make an initial change, that I had to deal with the guilt of that change. And even though I felt like in this area I'm happy, but then behind closed doors I still felt guilty and judged, and it just wasn't a good place. So it got to a point, maybe a little bit after we met, because it was mid-November, and there was a point where I was like, I don't have to really be here anymore. Everything will be okay without me. And then God just does what he does. So whatever happened, I fell asleep. And I woke up after these dreams and just realized that there's a whole lot more that I'm here for than just the crap that I dealt with.
Right.
So that was a turning point, and that was where I just said, I'm done. I have to be an example, not just for myself, but for my kids, but the women around me.
Right. What were you done with?
Appeasing other people, letting their emotions control my choices or my actions, and just putting myself last. Like I need to put myself first, and that's okay. Mm-hmm. It's okay to put yourself first. I always tell my kids, like, you have to love yourself before you love someone else.
Right.
So why wasn't that true for me? So that's what I started to do.
Good for you. Good for you. I know it gets emotional when we talk about the pain, but I think it's important to recognize when we initially start to expose it and talk about it, the crying is about pain, it's about guilt, it's about shame. But then we get to a point like where we are right now where, yes, we still cry, but it's not about the pain and the guilt anymore.
Mm-hmm.
It's about we've really done something about it. We've
Right.
chosen not to stay there, and it's about being proud and not prideful where you're boasting, but really proud because you've put in the work to get there.
Definitely.
So you and I have something in common. I have tattoo here with a semicolon. You just got a brand new one and it says intentional. So tell me a little bit about what that means for you.
Well, one of the things that I did in this was I have 2 semicolons. So the very first one is for myself, because my mental health is important.
Mm-hmm.
But then it also comes from a line of women who dealt with depression over generations.
Mm-hmm.
So that also is for my great-grandmother, my grandmother, my mom. And then for my own, not just my daughters, but for my sons too, because
Right.
they've had a lot of crap this year they've had to deal with.
Mm-hmm.
And those in itself is just a reminder to me, like, you're here for not just you, you're here for other people.
Right.
But intentional became my word last year because I did realize I had a choice in everything I did. I made a very bold choice to change my situation, and everything that happens in life, you have choices to make.
Mm-hmm.
There's some stuff that happens where you can't really choose what happens in that situation, but you choose how you react, how you respond,
Yes.
how you let it affect you.
Right.
So if you live with intention, you live to meet your purpose. So intentionally always making sure that my actions and responses, the people that I connect with, the people that I choose to walk away from, it's all intentional because my purpose is greater than what people see when they look at me.
Absolutely. That's powerful. And I love that you kind of shed light on the fact that, Rise is women focused and mental illness is very severe in the female population, but it doesn't discriminate. So you doing this is showing your daughter something different, but it's also showing the boys as well, which is really, really powerful. So you talked about, having to walk away from some people, and we have our circles of influence that we talk about. With you growing and changing, what are you noticing around you with the people, the environment, the circumstance, and so forth?
I have noticed that I myself just realized I don't have time for some people. I don't have to respond to some people.
Mm-hmm.
I've been able to change myself to turn off notifications from people on my phone, respond when I want to or how I want to. And if I don't want to, that's fine too. I choose that quite often. And then some people will draw to you more because they do see something's different.
Mm-hmm.
There's a change in you. But then people who, I don't really know what the word is, people who recognize it and don't like it,
Right, makes them uncomfortable.
they kind of back away a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I never intend to have people back away. I hope that people want to flock to me and change
Right.
themselves, but that happens and I'm okay with that.
Right, because we talk about choices, and
Mhm.
initially you're here and you're growing, and then this person now has a choice of their own. They can choose to grow too,
Right.
or they can choose to stay stuck. If they choose to stay stuck, then you will outgrow them, and that's okay.
Right.
That's okay.
Definitely.
So what has been the biggest impact in your life as a result of investing in you and the Rise process and me as your coach?
I think it's just helped me. I mean, it's been a bunch of stuff. Everything kind of comes together.
Right.
Like my biggest thing for me, and it's different for everyone, is just my control of my emotional state, my mental state. Stuff doesn't seem to affect me anymore, and I start to realize, okay, you can feel that way.
Mm-hmm.
It's fine for you to feel that way, and you are entitled to your feelings. I'm not as apologetic as I used to be.
Good.
I will apologize if I unintentionally hurt someone's feelings, but I won't necessarily apologize for making them feel that way, because I don't have control over how I make someone feel.
Right.
Mature, that's different.
But you recognize it and you own it, but
Yeah.
when it's their stuff, that's a good position to take.
And I don't let someone tell me that I shouldn't feel a certain way.
Fantastic.
So that's one thing I used to take, and people do things to you. Well, you shouldn't see it that way. You should. No, that's how I see it, and
Right.
that's how I feel, and I'm gonna feel this way. And then I vocalize it, which to me makes me laugh, because I can just say things like, I'm a little bit sour about that,
Good.
And some people might not like that, but I just feel like if we can talk to each other and say how we feel, then we can move past whatever that is, and no one's holding anything on and
Right.
making the situation worse.
Right. That's powerful. So let's think about the women that are watching this. What is a word of wisdom or something that you think they absolutely need to know because of what you've experienced?
There really isn't anything that you can't overcome. And like I said, everything is a choice. So if you are in a position where you feel like you are stuck or you're trapped, and you have a desire for something to change and be better, it's possible. But you have to make the choice to step into it yourself. You're in control of you. You're in control of your own actions. So if you make the choice to make the change, you have a whole tribe that can support you through that change. That's what happened to me. So
It's powerful.
I appreciate it.
It's powerful. So for the woman that is sitting there thinking, Melissa's telling my story. I was that Melissa. What would you encourage her to do at this point?
Send a Facebook message, pick up the phone, call Melanie. She'll call you as she's going through the toll booth and tell you that she'll talk to you later. She's very responsive. Or reach out to anyone that you see that might be in the group, or connect with a friend and just share it. So you have to get support. So if the support's not going to come from those close to you, find a stranger to sit with you at a coffee shop and cry after 15 minutes of conversation.
Which we did that as well. Twice. Twice. So what's been your favorite part of working with me and going through this RISE process so far?
I think I can just be myself. Yeah, you call me on some things, but I'm not afraid to be me, and I'm not judged. All the women in the group, there's no one judging anybody else, and I'm one of those, I have 2 best friends, and I don't have a whole lot of female friends, because I always felt it was catty, it was this, that, or the other, and I don't feel that way. I go to the gym and I see people that I recognize just from our group on Facebook, because we're spread out, and we hug each other all sweaty and stinky, and it's okay, and I just know that they're going through the journey with me. I'm not alone, and the stuff that I've dealt with and have gone through, or the things that might come up, somebody's already done it, or they're going through it now, and we just support each other.
That's a beautiful thing. So would you say, as a result of going through this process, investing in you, engaging me as your coach, that you are now flourishing or on your way to flourishing?
Yes, definitely.
Absolutely. So then I would encourage any woman that's watching this, if you are finally ready to break those chains of depression, anxiety, lies, self-doubt, limiting beliefs, thinking that your circumstance is all you deserve, if you're finally ready to break through that and rise up and flourish too, Melissa did it. She's doing it. She's actively doing it.
Definitely.
You can do it too.
Definitely.
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Melissa. All right. We appreciate you watching. Have a great one.